Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk with this group today. Sorry if I'm not looking exactly at every single one of you. I'm trying to share, look at different spots on my screen. But congratulations, Liz and Pat and everyone on the 1-year anniversary of Wellness Wednesdays. I'm a Wellness Wednesday disciple, and I get a ton out of this community. And I hope today I'll give a little something back to all of you. So I'm first going to share my screen and then we'll get started. There we go. Can you see it? Okay, great. Okay, so today, welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about letting go and making space, how to practice unburdening yourself and creating opportunities. We're going to cover why we need to let go of things, the benefits of clearing out old energy, and how to make space for fresh ideas. Then we're going to practice with a short guided visualization, and I'll share some additional resources. And then, like Liz said, at the end, we'll do questions and answers. So just to introduce myself, I'm Kristen Tsarnas. I'm an end-of-life doula, and I've also volunteered as a doula and bereavement counselor at a local hospice and home care company for the last 11 years. My role is to sit vigil with people who are imminently dying, to support them and witness their transition. I offer touch, deep listening, I read prayers to them. Sometimes I lead patients in guided visualizations that are customized to their life and the treasured places and hobbies that they might have had. I also reach out to their loved ones to help them process their grief and acknowledge any difficult thoughts and feelings you can imagine. In addition, I've recently launched a business called Home Wellness Consulting, where I assist clients in another type of transition from messy houses to organized and efficient, or from outdated to fun and fabulous. I love to have fun in the house. I also help clients reduce their exposure to chemicals in their house, such as from the food they eat, the cleaning products they use, and any personal care items they might use, such as shampoo. Most of my work is in the area of decluttering and then organizing what's left so that the client's home has good flow and great vibes and just supports and delights them. And you can check out my work on my website, which I'll give you at the end. So these two roles actually overlap. I try to help people let go of the burdens and distractions that prevent them from living and then sometimes from dying. I've learned over the years we don't have to wait till an end-of-life scenario to remove the excesses from our lives, to allow ourselves the space to focus on our most important priorities. So decluttering really opens up your life while you're still living it. Letting go of the stuff that we don't need in our lives makes lots of space for all the good stuff that we do want in our lives, whether that's family time, recreation, self-discovery, sharing love and laughter, what you really want in your heart. Oops, one too many. So obviously I'm hinting at much more than just physical items. We can build a practice of letting go of emotional and mental burdens as well. The fear, guilt, a drive for prestige or status, all these things that will help us become good at letting go of the physical items. You can also practice the other way around, decluttering the physical stuff first, like your home, or you can practice both at the same time in small doses. Sometimes it's easier just to start with the physical items. So think about your kitchen pantry. If you were to sort through it and throw out all the expired food, say it isn't so, and then donate all the foods that you no longer even like to eat, well, that'd probably be a nice accomplishment, right, for the afternoon and wouldn't upset your emotional balance too much. Here is the way that author Ann Patchett, describes facing her proliferation of junk drawers in a recent article in the New Yorker. I'll read it in case it's too small. Every table had a drawer, and every drawer had a story, none of them interesting. I scouted them out room by room and sifted through the manuals and remotes and packets of flower food. I found the burnt down ends of candles, campaign buttons, nickels, a shocking quantity of pencils, more decks of cards than two people could shuffle through in a lifetime. I gathered together the paper clips, made a ball out of the rubber bands, and threw the rest away. Sounds doable, right? You start small, maybe in your kitchen junk drawer. Hopefully there's only one. You'd probably not want to start your decluttering journey with those ancient boxes of sentimental keepsakes, you know, the ones that you've moved from house to house over the past 40 years. So that's too much too soon, and you might want to think about building the muscle of letting go before you try for the heavy lifting. First, let's take a look now at how physical clutter might make you feel. Get ready. Okay. This is a photo of a kind of messy office, music room / storage room. And for those of you with limited vision, I'm going to describe the photo. We've got an office with bookshelves up to the ceiling, packed full of books going in both directions. We've got CDs and DVDs on 3 large racks in the back wall. We've got a desk and a chair, both covered with office supplies, so you really cannot sit down. There's office supplies on the floor and a piece of artwork, a backpack, some other boxes and bins and other things. So you can barely see the carpeting, actually. How do you feel when you look at this photo? What thoughts pop into your mind? Take a second to identify what emotions might come up for you. Is it exhaustion before you even get started? Judgment, sadness, guilt, anger, or maybe even deep recognition? I personally feel very uneasy and unsettled, and I'm dying to get in there and clean it up. Now let's take a look at a different type of office. In this picture, we have a closet that's been turned into a cute little office. There's some pretty wallpaper, some artwork on the wall. There's a desk, which is pretty much clear except for a couple of office supplies, a chair that's empty, the floor that's empty, and just a few baskets around for you to use to put your paperwork. Now, how do you feel about this office space? Probably calm and motivated and even hopeful, excited or energized, and inspired to get down to work. I hope. The physical energy informs your emotional and mental energy, and vice versa. So streamlining your home of the physical burdens can result in a lot of benefits, which I'm categorizing as, I guess, in three ways: emotional benefits, mental benefits, and your physical environmental benefit. So first, to feel centered and capable. You're able to plan ahead. Another benefit, to feel at peace and secure, relaxed. A mental benefit might be to see things more clearly, make better choices, to allow space for opportunities and fresh ideas to flow into your mind. Some of the physical benefits of decluttering might be to remove dust and dirt, dust mites, other allergens that can affect your health, to save money on unnecessary duplicate purchases. How many of us have bought more toilet paper when we already had 3 packages tucked in the closet? You know, we didn't know it was there, so we bought it again. Another benefit, to more easily perform maintenance on your home. You maintain the things in your home before they break and become more expensive to fix. And my favorite one, the other benefit here, is a combination of all 3 types. It's really to share your home with others at any time. You don't fear the drop-in visit. It's okay if your mother-in-law shows up at the last minute. Your house always looks presentable. What about letting go of the things that burden our hearts and our minds? So you hear a lot of things about letting it go. Even Disney, created a song about it for the movie Frozen. The point of letting go is to remove distractions and clear space, emotionally, mentally, and physically. You can consciously direct yourself to release thoughts and ideas and stuff that doesn't help you serve your purpose anymore. You can release tension that takes up residence in your body's tissues and causes pain. You can leave behind negative energy that keeps you living in the past or affects your judgment and decision-making abilities going forward. You can remove a trigger of a trauma that you may have experienced a long time ago, something that every time you see it, it makes you react in a way that's no longer useful. The law of replacement says that when you take something away, something else rushes in to take its place. So you create a vacuum and something new will fill in that space. So imagine digging a hole in the sand to install your beach umbrella. As soon as you shovel out that sand, more sand slides in to fill the cavity. We can be curious and thoughtful about what we're letting go of with an eye toward what we want to bring into that space. How do we do that? That's the question. First thing we need to do is to identify where we might need to let go of something. And to do that, we need to get a little quiet and reflective. A helpful technique that I've found is to ask yourself the what if question. So on this slide, there are a bunch of what if questions, which I'll read to you. You can try them out for yourself in your journal or just follow along in your head. And if you're interested in working with these questions some more, they're mentioned in a blog on my website that I published this week. So here we go. We're going to explore what happens if we're able to let go. What if I clear out my closet and garage? What would that allow me to do? What if I listen to my body right now? What would it tell me? What does it need? What if I stop feeling guilty about that unintentional hurt that I caused? What if I forgave that person for the hurt they caused me? What could fill in that space? What could you imagine happening? What if I take away the limitation that I placed on myself? What if I let go of the obligation? Just let it go. What happens? What if I stop following my own arbitrary rules? What would I be able to do then? What if I allowed myself to do XYZ, anything? What opportunities could I pursue? So questioning ourselves this way helps us mine our deepest desires and stores of wisdom. We all have that right here. It tells us what we no longer need in our lives, where the negative energy is sitting and blocking us from moving forward. It helps us figure out where we want to go, in what way, and with whom. The key point here is to listen to ourselves and actively consider what we can take away and what we can bring into the space that's created. Okay, so I promised making space. What are we making space for? It comes down to manifesting the things you want in your life. Ooh, it's just very simple though. What if you made some space with the specific intention of filling the gap with something desirable? When you think about it, you're not just checking off to-do list items for the sake of marking up your day planner. You're finishing tasks so that you can then move on to do the things that you really want to do. But have you spent any time considering your goals and priorities, the activities you want to pursue that feed your soul? We tend to focus on completing the have-to-dos and often run out of time and energy to do the things that we want to do. Sometimes we don't even know what things would give our lives meaning. Take this concrete example. This is my own example. So you need a clean guest bedroom because your nephew is coming to stay with you this summer. And the overflowing boxes of Christmas decor are piled up on the guest room bed. So you could move those boxes to the basement and deal with them later, but that just doubles your work. Think about what's more important to you. Relaxing family time with your adorable nephew, or having enough Christmas ornaments to decorate the houses of everyone on your block for the holidays. You can probably let go of some of the decorations and make some space, make it easy to prepare for your nephew's visit. So get to know which things bring you more joy and make space for those things. Most of us also want more satisfaction and positivity in our lives. We can reframe our experience of getting our must-do work done. Instead of thinking of it as drudgery, it's going to provide a sense of accomplishment, joy in our own abilities. We're going to wow ourselves. We're practicing the art of letting go of the part of our life that signals difficulty, obligation, and strain, and replacing it with the more positive, life-affirming qualities of gratitude for our abilities, freedom of choice, and awe at our own success. Now, as an aside, if there are simply too many have-to-dos on your list, perhaps some reflection of your life's purpose and priorities will allow you to shift your perspective and also the contents of your to-do list. Just something to think about. So we can also make space for surprise and delight in our lives. We can reframe problems or unexpected circumstances as happy accidents. What if we decided to let go of the frustration and stress, accepted the changes that need to be made, and then enjoyed the outcome as it happens? What if we chose to see the outcome as a beautiful, happy accident? Maybe better than what we originally planned sometimes. And if it is a sad outcome, disappointing outcome, can we choose to appreciate the wisdom that will come from enduring it? Will we learn something or gain a new perspective? You're making space for growth. So now we're going to put a little of this theory into action. We're going to do a guided visualization. You'll have the chance to observe what burdens come to mind for you today and practice the skill of letting go of them, even if it's just a small piece of them. Maybe you'll gain some insights as to how to help yourself and your loved ones let go of unhelpful thoughts and ideas and concepts, labels, whatever's not serving you, whatever prevents you from living your best life. So you can leave your camera on or turn it off if you like, but just please stay muted for the next 5 minutes. It'll be just over 5 minutes that we'll be doing this meditation together. So first, everybody, shake out your arms and legs, crack your neck, whatever you have to do. Get out your wiggles, as my favorite librarian used to say. Okay, then sit and lie down, or lie down, whatever you prefer, comfortably. Just take a comfortable seat. And then you may want to have your journal or notebook ready for writing down your thoughts at the end, but you don't have to do that. Okay, now I'm going to play the recording for you for the next 5 minutes. I hope you enjoy this. Rest your hands over your heart and gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath into your belly, expanding it, holding it, and then exhale slowly. Take another breath in, deep in your belly, hold, 2, 3, and exhale completely. Keep exhaling until you think there is no air left in your lungs. Take one more breath. Tune into your heart, cozy and safe under your hands, and exhale naturally. Continue breathing slowly but naturally. Bring to mind a color. This can be your favorite color right now, a bright color, a muted color, black, white, maybe even a color you are surprised to find coming to mind. Whatever comes to mind is okay, because it is the color you need right now and one that will balance you. There is no need to try to force a certain color. Imagine this color all around you, on your face, on your clothes, on the floor, in the air. Take a deep breath of this color and imagine it permeating your entire body. Check in with your heart and observe what feelings come up. Maybe about what the color symbolizes for you. Maybe an emotion, a person. Listen and wait. Just notice the thoughts and feelings as you take another deep breath of your color. Now, in your imagination, picture a balloon of your color. You're holding it on a string, and the balloon is gently swaying in the air above your head. Take one of your observed thoughts and in your mind, place it inside the balloon. Take one of your observed feelings and place it in the balloon. Tuck other thoughts, ideas, concepts, worries, fears, anything that appeared for you into the balloon. It will all fit. This balloon expands to accept anything you might want to place in there. Continue holding your colored balloon as it sways. Now, slowly release your grip on its string, one finger at a time. Feel the string sliding between your fingers and watch the balloon slowly lifting away from you. Let the balloon float out an open window and up to the sky, taking all of your observations and feelings with it. Wish those things well. Let them go out into the world to serve some other purpose. Release the energy of those past thoughts. Take a deep cleansing breath in, filling your body with new air. Exhale. Take another breath and be open to the new possibilities that can now find a space inside your clear mind and heart. Accept this fresh energy with a spirit of gratitude. Now gently open your eyes. Welcome back, everyone. Is everyone still with us? Anyone fall asleep? Take a moment to observe how you feel. Maybe jot a note in your journal. What thoughts do you have about the exercise? What was the experience like? How quickly did things pop into your mind? How big did your balloon get? Was it stuffed full, or did you have trouble identifying what to put in there? I'll give you a second to think about it. You'll notice that when you were taking stock of the thoughts and feelings coming up, I wasn't asking you to judge them. You didn't need to determine if they were good things or bad things. You're just observing their presence, perhaps marveling at what was popping up. Maybe nothing popped up in this setting. Some of you may have started this exercise with the expectation of getting rid of all of your grief, anger, and fear in one go, thinking it was all about getting rid of the burdens that we've been talking about. And maybe you were able to get a good number of them stuffed into that balloon and let go up into the air. But others might have experienced a joyful, content feeling during the visualization and started worrying about giving those feelings away. After all, aren't those the feelings we want to keep? I want to reassure you that it is safe to place any emotion or thought into that balloon. Letting go doesn't mean you're going to banish those thoughts or lose them. It means you take away their diminishing power if that's the effect that they were having on you. If you let go of strengthening, joyful thoughts, you also don't lose those. Think of it as sharing them. You're offering to release some of your happiness out into the world. So this exercise works to make space in your heart and mind, whether what comes up on any particular day is good or bad, happy or sad. And this is just a quick, 5-minute exercise. You know how to listen to yourself, how to identify what can go. Imagine what you could release if you did this exercise every night before bed, before sleeping. You'd be relaxed and clear, really primed for a fresh, confident, open-minded start every morning. And soon enough, your desires would make themselves known as they stepped forward into that space. You may be familiar with Marie Kondo. She's a trendy Japanese author and organizer who says, to truly cherish the things that are important to you, you must first discard those that have outlived their purpose. I think that sums up what we're trying for here. So here are some other ways that you might practice the skill of letting go. Take a few deep breaths, check in with your heart, share your love, or release your worries to the universe or a higher power. Just smile sometimes is enough. Or you can do Dr. Ann Dietly's Laughing Buddha belly laugh exercise that we learned a couple of months ago. She taught us to raise our arms up, if you remember, and start laughing out loud and bouncing to activate our radiant circuits. It's either that or you're at a club, I don't know which. So you just open your mouth, start laughing, and you just let your worries fly right out of your open mouth. Someone's doing it, I can hear it. Another option is to meditate on filling this colored balloon. Let it float up and away. Do that exercise we just practiced. Gaze at the vast open sky or stars. This one I love because it makes you feel like you're just one small piece of the universe, and it helps you consider whether you're giving one thought or worry that's on your mind too much power. You can watch a movie that moves you to tears and just let the floodgates open. Feeling your emotions really allows you to release them. You can restore yourself in nature. That's a favorite. Either actually going outside or just walk on the beach in your mind. Let the wind or the waves carry your worries away from you. Your mind can powerfully influence your body. I'm sure you can think of many other ideas. And we have some practitioners on the call probably who can think of some more. And recently I've just started researching the Sedona method, which is a method for letting go. And I'm going to get into EFT, emotional freedom technique, or also known as tapping. And I think actually one of our Wellness Wednesdays speakers in the future might be this. And these are all for the purpose of letting go of our burdens. I'm also slowly learning about lymphatic drainage as a way to assist us in releasing our bodily toxins and emotions. But before we leave this slide, I want to take us back to where we started tonight's topic, to discussing how to free your physical home from the excess stuff. You can walk around your home with a notebook, or the support of yours truly, call me up, and jot down what obstacles need to be removed in each room. Because maybe you've just stopped seeing the stuff and just need a little support to take a critical look at your surroundings. Perhaps there's a reason why you're having trouble detaching from your stuff. We can figure out the emotional connection you have to the stuff. And if it isn't needed any longer, accept the change, remove the obstacle from your physical space. When I work with clients, sometimes, just giving them permission to dispose of an item is enough for them to be able to clear out a decade worth of clutter in the corner of the living room. And of course, some clutter might be very difficult to face and take several attempts to make an impact. And that's okay, because healing your home environment is a process and it's a practice. You might want to do some small decluttering projects around your home to begin to flex this muscle. You can start with one drawer or category. Think about the appliances you never use or that expired food in your pantry. And it might help you to let go if you identify a person or an agency to take the item that you no longer want or need. You can think of the item as not as a loss, your loss, but as a gift to another person to use and enjoy. You are giving the item new life and purpose as well. You can donate to one of the many organizations like Green Drop or Vietnam Veterans. Both of those come to your house and pick up right on your porch. Archer Clothesline Thrift Shop is a great one. Or you can find one of Westside's mission partners. Then you won't feel like you're being wasteful when you get rid of the things that still have a useful life. Another strategy is to thank each of the items you're letting go of, Marie Kondo style. She's a Japanese organizer I mentioned before who writes about tidying up your home and the joy that that can bring. She also wants anything you decide to keep to spark joy for you. You've probably heard of that. So what you do is you take an item, you hold it in your hand, and if it doesn't spark joy or you just don't really feel much of anything, then you can safely let it go. You say, "Thank you, item. Thank you for your service." And then you just donate it. I know it sounds a little hokey, but when you start doing it, and I've used this with all my clients, they start getting on a roll of saying, "Oh, thank you, basket. Now I'm going to let you go and you can go to someone else's house." So maybe try it. I'd like to mention a project that I'm currently doing with Eva's Village in Patterson. It's one of Westside's mission partners. I'm collecting gently worn costume jewelry from local donors, like you and me, and giving it to the clients of Eva's Village to support them in moving forward in their lives and offer them the dignity of wearing a nice piece of jewelry. So many lovely necklaces and earrings have already been donated. I'm collecting a ton, and I'm excited to promote the spring cleaning of our jewelry boxes, for the benefit of Eva's clientele. So it's a win-win. The collection continues through April 21st, next week. And if you'd like to participate, you can contact Pastor Liz for the details, or you can give me a call. My phone number will be on the next slide. So I'm going to wrap up by encouraging you to set an intention to consciously let go of your burdens in whatever form they might take. And you can practice using the tools we talked about today. And I'm going to remind you that decluttering your head, your heart, and your home, it's not a one-shot deal. It's a journey. Just like yoga, just like eating clean, practice letting go, and you will gift yourself greater freedom. And you'll allow more opportunity to present itself in your life. You can find me here. I've given this slide. You can find me at homewellnessconsulting.com, on Facebook at the same name, or on Instagram at homewellnesskt. Those are my initials. Or feel free to give me a call with any of your thoughts or questions after this presentation and another time. My number is 201-214-6674. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is I want to give you the opportunity to see some of these resources here and learn more on your own if you like. There's the website for the International End-of-Life Doula Association, inelda.org. That's, I'm a member, I'm a certified end-of-life doula through them. There's the article by Ann Patchett that we looked at with the junk drawers. There's two books that I love. The first one, obviously, is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing by Marie Kondo. That came out already a few years ago, and she has a couple of follow-up books and a TV show. She's just amazing to watch. And the other book that I really like, I have here so you can take a look at it. It's called Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui by Kingston. And it's great for figuring out why we're so attached to our stuff. She really goes into it. Then other resource here is Don't Throw It All Away, which was a blog that I wrote in March. And it covers the topic of aggressive decluttering, the Olympic sport of decluttering, and how you don't have to throw away all your treasures. So I've written about that. And then lastly, a really great website on minimalism, nosidebar.com. And it's really all about creating simplicity and meaning in your life. So I just want to say thank you so much for the privilege of presenting my work to this lovely, robust community. I hope you really enjoyed my talk and gained some new ideas about practicing the art of letting go and making space. And now I guess I'll toss it back to Liz to take your questions and comments. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And I did want to make sure that people know that Kristen's website will have a lot of, I think a lot of people were asking about the slides, and I know you were going to be posting some of those things on your website so that they could take a look at some of the imagery and some of the questions that you had. So we would like to open it up for some questions if anybody has any. I don't, if you wanted to put them, or you wanted to, as we said, you could unmute yourself and just kind of chat out if that's helpful. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it. A lot of people were basically describing how they felt when they were looking at the pictures. Unfortunately, some people thought it was unrealistic to have such a neat, tidy desk. But it's not. That's her message. It's not unrealistic. We can do it.
Yeah, we can do it. I mean, it's all about what your priorities are. Do you want to spend time moving stuff off the chair just so you can sit down? Or would you rather get right down to work when it's time to do that?
Yeah. So, Hillary. Yeah, go ahead.
This was great, Kristen. I was just wondering, do you use Feng Shui when you consult with people?
I use it. I use it to a small extent. I'm not an expert at it yet. I'm still learning more and more about it. It's like a topic that never ends. There's so much to learn. But it's a really great tool when someone says to me, you know, I've got this pile of stuff. I kind of keep it all in my one junk room. And I just close the door so that when people come over, they don't see my stuff piled up over there. And then I go to my Feng Shui book and I look at this grid. There's a 9-box grid, and it's in the book that I pointed out in this book. And it shows what area of your house is responsible for what area of your life, like relationships and finances and your reputation, your health. And it's so amazing to see if someone says, okay, there's something caught in the back right corner of my house that's aligned to their marriage. Oh, they're having problems in their marriage. And if they move that pile of stuff out of the house or even to another area of the house, which is not ideal because then you're causing problems in another area. But if you move it out of the house, it's amazing how your energy flows through the space differently. And so that's what's so fascinating to me about Feng Shui. And I'm hoping to learn a lot more about how to use it with my clients.
That's a good question. Really good question.
So I have a question.
Yes, Pat,
I have
go
a
ahead.
question. Thank you, Kristen. This is just a beautiful presentation. And I'm writing little notes and different things. And I love a lot of the words that you're using, like no judgment, purpose for life. I love the fact that you've emphasized this is a practice. But one of the questions that I have is, what do you do when the stuff isn't yours? It's other people that live with you, and it's important for them to have it somewhere here, but it really creates a lot of clutter.
Yeah.
How do you work with that? Because you're not dealing with your own stuff, but rather, obviously I'm talking adult children, or that's
Right.
pretty much what I'm talking about.
Or, your partner, your children, if you have someone else living in the house with you, relatives, whatever. Yeah, it's a great question. And what I try to do is start with the person who's hired me, called me, and say, let's talk about your stuff only. Because people will tend to have you come in the house and say, oh, look at the pile my husband has over here. Your husband's not here right now. We're not going to deal with his stuff. It's not right really to touch other people's stuff. So I always work with the client directly, just them. And then what has happened to me, my experience has been that other people in the household notice what's going on. And then they start on the side over here. They're cleaning up, they go in their closet, they start pulling stuff out, and oh, look, I've actually had one client who I think might be on this call tonight, who wanted me to come over, clean out a couple of closets in the mudroom. We went through it, and then while we were doing it, her partner was in his own closet pulling out, and by the time we had a pile of stuff ready to donate and dispose of, he had 3 bags of his own stuff that he wanted to get rid of. And it's sort of it gets inspiring. Like, you start cleaning out things and you don't realize it's going to have that much of an impact. You can be skeptical at first. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel so great. Look at what we've accomplished. And look at how this room looks. It looks so much nicer. And I enjoy sitting in here. And wow, it's so much better. And I think it's sort of catching. And other people in the household want to start cleaning up their space as well. So that's what I've experienced so far. But I would say, set an example, be the model, don't touch other people's stuff. You really can't do that, but work with them, because once you start learning how to do this yourself and you get so excited and on a roll, it's going to be hard to tamp down that enthusiasm. Other people are going to want to get involved.
And I think you're saying that would apply, especially even for adult children who don't even live at the home, but come home for holidays or come home. And, because conveniently they've left a lot of their things in the home that they grew up in, even though they don't live there anymore. And they don't have room for it because they're in a small apartment, et cetera, et cetera. Mom and dad, can't you just keep it for us?
Right.
So you're saying that even that would sort of spill over?
Well, I think that there's a certain amount of that, Liz, that you can hang on to if it's a reasonable amount. Some people, when their children move out, they keep their whole room intact. Other people don't have that kind of space and they want to declutter the entire thing. And if they do, well, maybe they can have 3 large boxes and put those in the basement or in the attic or something like that to get it out of the way, so you can, practically use your space. But I wouldn't say that if there's boxes and boxes of stuff that you should allow adult children to leave that at your home for an indefinite period of time. I think at some point, you got to get rid of it, or you got to offer it to them and say, it's yours, it's your responsibility,
Yeah. And one of MJ mentions on that Karen Kingston addresses that in her book, Other People's Clutter. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Yes. If you pick up this book, you will read this in one night. It's so exciting and you can't wait to get started. You just like rip open your closets and start throwing stuff away. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I see a few skeptics in the pictures up top here, but believe me.
I see Anne's hand popped up there. Is that Anne Deatley? Yep.
Yes. So I just want to add that anything that's in your space is going to take energy away from you. So if you're somebody that feels spent, you don't have enough energy to do what you want, this is almost an imperative thing to do, is start getting stuff out of your environment so you can feel more energized and feel like you can handle what you need to do in life.
Thank you, Dr. Ann. That's perfect.
Perfect. Christina Dyer, I'm looking for you and all the people, but why don't you just unmute yourself? I know you had a question.
Okay, hi, I'm here. Thank you so much for this presentation. It's so helpful.
You're welcome.
I love all this information. And my question is, I find myself circling back to it over and over. I guess I'm asking, how you get yourself to a point where you can clear your space to help clear your mind. And then I find myself doing it all over again with another room and another room, and it never ends. And with a family and juggling everything, I guess my question are, what tools do I need to keep myself from feeling burnout from doing that all the time? Or maybe I don't have the right system. Maybe I need you at my house. I don't know. But I guess, what can we do to feel not whelmed?
Not what? What was the last thing you said? Overwhelmed?
Not overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Not overwhelmed with doing it so much. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Well, I think that you hinted at the solution, which is to have the right routines in place to handle the clutter. First off, if you are taking on a decluttering project from the start, like your house is full of stuff and you haven't done this before, it is going to take, months, or maybe it's 3 weeks of dedicated time for you to clean your entire house out once the first time. And then there's a second round, and then there's that third round, because there's always a little bit more. And I know this because I've actually recently sold my house and was getting it ready to be shown. And I'm a professional organizer. I purge everything. If you're not sitting on it, that chair's out the door. And honestly, there was still so much stuff I had to get rid of to prepare my house for sale. So even I have to keep doing this over and over. But there's a way that I keep track of doing this periodically, and I create kind of a routine for myself. And maybe this doesn't work for everyone, but I have sort of a quarterly plan in place of tasks that I do around the house to maintain the house. And they involve different gardening things, changing filters, going through my seasonal seasonally going through the closets and going through my daughter's drawers and making sure that I'm always kind of doing it. And I don't see it really as drudgery. I see it as maintaining my home. And so I have this routine in place, and I do this work, consistently. And because my house is already very decluttered, it's so much easier to do it. So I guess I would just recommend that you just keep going. Maybe consider getting the support of a professional. If you just need a little bit more in terms of strategies, specific solutions for your space. If you have 6 kids, yes, you might have a lot more stuff and just need some specific solutions.
And it sounded like she was also, one of the things that I know you've recommended is creating some kind of pattern so that it doesn't fall back. Like you mentioned a client that you had worked with who, and you did the cleaning with her, but she didn't really change her patterning.
Right.
So then you had to be called back in maybe 6 months later.
Right. Actually, recently.
So that I think is a big piece of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to get a different mindset about it. I know a lot of the things we talked about tonight were very emotional and kind of a deep way to look at it. And perhaps some of you were thinking, we're going to come here and talk about how to spring clean. But this is it really starts in your head and in your heart. What do you want your life to be like? Do you want to move through your life with ease? Or do you want to have to constantly clean and maintain? When you walk in the house, do you feel like, it's a to-do list? I'm looking at the mudroom and it's a mess, and I'm looking in the coat closet and it's a mess, and all the kitchen counters a mess. It's like, if you're constantly on that hamster wheel, then you're going to get exhausted. So I think setting up some routines and thinking about what is really, really important to you will allow you to get that decluttering to a good stage that is easier to maintain.
Thank you. Good ideas.
Mm. Kristen,
Yes.
Go
what
ahead.
was the name of the book that you mentioned just a little while ago that you said we would read right away?
Oh, it's this one, Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui by Kingston.
Karen Kingston?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Clutter.
it's a fun read, actually. It's not, difficult to read. It just flies right by. At least it does for me.
Okay, any other questions? You got a lot of beautiful comments and thank yous in the chat.
Mhm.
Someone asked about end of life doula.
Yes, Dr. Joe, I believe that was.
Yes.
Is that? Yes. At what point do you engage somebody do you see the question? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it says, what stage do you engage as an end of life doula? Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
in private practice, I can engage at various different times. Most often it's in crisis at the end of life when a person is within days of passing away. When it's with the company, the hospice company that I volunteer for, usually what they try to do is to engage with the family and the patient up to a few months before. So as soon as they come on to hospice, which as we know is a 6-month timeline usually. So sometimes I will be engaged right at the beginning of that 6-month period, let's say. Most of the time, I'm working with someone within the last 3 days of their life. And I haven't had the opportunity to really get to know them as a person or get to know their family. And in some ways, the person is a stranger to me, but it takes away all of the stories and all of the, I don't know, there's no, it's basically a very raw relationship. It's almost easier in a sense for me to work with a patient I've just met. And then they're in decline right at the end of their life, because I just see them as another human being and I respect them as a human being. I see them in the vessel that they're in whatever way that it is. And it's almost some ways easier to be with that person and companion them into their death. I hope that helps. Was there more to it? No. Okay.
I think that was Dr. Joe. Good. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And it's interesting how that work has informed your work in terms of letting go. Did you see that connection right away, or did it just sort of slowly dawn on you?
No, because I've been a doula for 11 years, and I've been a passionate domestic goddess for, I guess 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the two as really related. And I kept noticing when I started working as a doula, I immediately loved it. I feel it's such a privilege to work with people in that capacity. And I get so much out of it personally. The fact that I can really help people in their moment of need like that is very helpful to me. At the same time, I was really enjoying being in my home and decorating my home and making it clean and beautiful and fun and colorful. And I finally realized that, the reason I'm able to do that is because I'm living with the goal. I'm living with the sort of the goal. My priority is my family and our home is our foundation. And so I'm working to make our foundation as beautiful as possible so that our family can feel secure and able to, have a secure, settled footing in this home. And I was spending all my time doing that. And I realized, these two things are related. I've gotten rid of tons of stuff that's excess that we don't need. And that's what I do when I work with a patient in the doula capacity. Everything else just falls away. All the baggage falls away. And here you are, you're at the end of your life. it's going to happen. You know, we're all going to go. And it's just amazing how the two kind of, I just realized it a couple of years ago that these two things are overlapping.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful connection to my mind. And I really just appreciate all that you do to help people let go, because there's so much that we hold on to that really does hold us back, both just emotionally and energetically. So we're just about out of time, and I thought I saw one little cute hand pop up, but maybe it popped back down. So I think we're going to leave it there, and just with such warm gratitude for your willingness to offer such helpful insights. I'm reminding everybody that you can head off to Kristen's website, and much of what she shared with us tonight is available through her blog and her website information. And of course, she's super available to answer questions. I'm sure if you emailed her, and she gave her phone number out. So I will leave you to it, to go get to your little drawer in your kitchen and get yourself started. We wish you well as you go out into your week. And our message to you is always be well. And we hope to see you next week when Angela Kays is with us for some super deep yoga, not yoga philosophy, and maybe some practicing right on the screen. God bless everyone.